Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today we are working on a family home. It's not a specific style necessarily. It is kind of a bit like a ranch home because we do have a stable and it's kind of that rustic sort of vibe. But it is just generally just a family home. We do have a little stable, barn area off to the left, and it is a build that is built on the side angle, which I quite like. Whenever I see builds like this, I'm always more fascinated because it is something that you see less on the gallery, I suppose. So I do enjoy doing different angled builds. They're not just straightforward. So that is what we're doing today. This is a home for 2 adults, 2 children, and a baby or infant. I did make the room for an infant just because it excites me. But the person whose build this is for hasn't had the baby yet, so obviously it will be a baby first. However, infant rooms are just adorable, so I made an infant room. So this is another custom build for another customer, and yeah, she adores this build. I'm very pleased she likes it, and yeah, it was very exciting to make. We do have a white driveway, which is a first, a bit different than usual. I do like the size of this house. It is very long, not very wide, but I quite like it. It's got a lot of space inside and it's not too big, you know, like sometimes, like I say every time, sometimes when I make builds I'm like, it's a bit overwhelming, it's a bit too much to fill up, but I think it was a decent sized home, and I like there's lots of elements to it. Like we've got this little walkway that leads over to the barn that is covered over, so I quite like that. I really like the wood swatch on this build as well. It makes it look more like a ranch home, and just the black roof. I always love using that roof. I think it's from Snowy Escape. It's just something different and I just love it. Plus I always use these white plants in literally everything, but you know, they look good in my opinion with all of the dark shades and with the wood shades, so I quite like it. So yes, that is what we're doing. We're just working on some landscaping on the outside. I did want to make sure that I filled up all of the back of the house with landscaping, because sometimes I don't make it as detailed, but like if it was a real house it would all look the same. You wouldn't just avoid the back because no one sees it, so I've been trying to do that more often. But yeah, I really like how this house turned out. I like that it's got a big driveway. I feel like it, you know, it makes you want to like go up that little road that I've created. So now we're just working on the floor plan. The floor plan is quite open. It's mostly open plan. The kitchen and the lounge area are open, and there's a little like hatch that leads into the dining room. What is the word? It's not hutch. I don't know. You know what I mean. There's a gap in the wall. So I quite like that, and I really like having a fireplace in the middle of the lounge. I just think it's like a good staple point to like start off with, you know. It kind of like gives me a guide to what I'm doing. This is what I mean. There's a gap from the kitchen into the dining room. I quite like that because I feel like if that was real life you could just like pass the food over the wall, which I think is quite cute. I love this kitchen. I've got a bit of a thing for the countertops in Parenthood. I just think they're adorable. I love the colour swatch. I love the wood tones. I just think it works well with this colour scheme of this house as well. The flooring matches quite nicely and the black goes well with it, so yes. We're now working on the lounge area, and like I said, I really like having fireplaces. I kind of feel like it gives you like a main focus point for the room, and it kind of like ties it all together, so I enjoyed that part of it. I did want to include some kids' toys as well, so I do try and clutter it quite a bit because they have 2 children, a girl and a boy. I'm not sure whether they're twins or not, presumably. But yeah, that is what I end up doing. I really like the colour scheme of this house. Of course, it's very me. Not much colour, a lot of shades rather than pops of colour. I do really like how it turned out though. I think it's really like calm then, you know? Like sometimes you move into a house and you're like, it just feels a bit cold, you know? I feel like when you have more modern homes it feels a bit more cold. So I do really like this home. It's very like family cozy vibe. I would definitely play in this house myself. I feel like it's a nice size for a family. It's not too big, it's not too small, there's room to grow, which is kind of key in all of my builds. I try and make sure that there is room to grow, because you never know, you want to expand the family, or you get more pets, or you know, whatever life may throw at them, they've got the space. So yes, I'm just now working on it. The dining room, I do always struggle a little bit with dining rooms. I'm not quite sure why. I just never really know how to fill them. I kind of feel like it's a room that shouldn't have too much clutter in, and maybe that's why I struggle, because I like my clutter. But I never really know what to put in the corners. I usually just end up putting a chair or a light or something, but I don't know. If you've got any tips for making dining rooms more interesting, do let me know. I don't dislike them, I kind of feel like they're a bit samey in my opinion, the ones I do anyway. But yeah, we're just now working on the downstairs bathroom. I tend not to include bathrooms in my speed builds anymore because they do tend to look the same, but this one was slightly different, so I did include this one. And yeah, not much going on in here as usual. Bathrooms and dining rooms just aren't my thing. Kitchens, I adore. Kitchens, lounges to a point, they're probably like second, but kitchens and bedrooms are probably my favourite two things to make, so that's exciting. I do end up making this other room on the left side of the build into a playroom, a bit of like an activity room. We've got a keyboard in here for music, and just a little seating area by the door, as if like the kids would come in from outside and they take their shoes off by there, and I don't know, it just feels more like cozy. I did end up putting these little pillows as well, which I thought was quite cute, as if they're like relaxing while playing with their toys. And I added a bookshelf. I really like that bookshelf. I use it in almost everything. I like that it's wooden and it's got a lot of nice swatches, and it's not like too big and not too small. I find sometimes you go for like a particular shelf or something and you're like, it looks nice but it's too small, it's too big, but I kind of feel like that object is like perfectly sized for my stuff anyway, so I do like it very much. I really like including playrooms in my builds. I kind of feel like when I do play the game, which is very rare these days because I'm always building, but when I do get a chance to play, I do like having an area for the kids to hang out and to play downstairs, because I don't really want them to be upstairs the entire time. I do tend to try and keep it near the kitchen, so when the parents are cooking I can kind of like keep an eye on the kids, because they're usually always wanting to get into the fridge. So I try and keep it near the kitchen, but this one is slightly off to the other side of the house, but I think it's quite nice. So I am now working on the upstairs. This is the children's bedroom. Like I said, I think they're twins. I'm not too sure because this isn't for my family, but the person who's built this is adored it, so that's the main thing. I do end up finding some Void Critter stickers, which I didn't know existed. Why I haven't known that for how many years? How long's Parenthood been out for? Is it in Parenthood? Or was it in Kids Room? I have no idea, one of them. But yeah, so these, oh, it's in Kids Room. I was half right. I didn't know there were different versions. I always just thought it was the first one. Why I've never noticed that, I'm not too sure, but I really like them, and I just think it adds an extra element to this room. And I didn't want to make it like too girly or too like boyish, you know. I kind of want it to be kind of like a neutral space for both of them. I quite like the blue. It's got elements of pinks and purples and yellows, reds, just kind of every colour. I didn't want to go with like a set colour theme. I know I did do the walls blue, but I just kind of like the flowery wallpaper, so kind of went with that sort of vibe. But yeah, now we're working on the nursery. Like I said, the baby hasn't been born yet, so we did try and do it kind of like a neutral room. They do have a baby room, but they can include a bassinet in the parents' bedroom if they wish to. But yeah, I do really like this little space. I did struggle with a bookshelf, like I was saying about downstairs. Some of them just don't fit, they're just a bit too big, or you know, it's good to have variety, but I tend to lean towards the smaller bookshelves personally. I just kind of feel like if they're too big, they're a bit like overpowering in the room, and especially for like an infant's bedroom, I think it's just a bit overwhelming. It didn't really fit having something quite big in the space, so I tried to keep it like sweet and simple for the little baby. But I do really like how this room turned out. It's quite simplistic, but I really like it. It's definitely something that I would use for myself in game. So now we're working on at the parents' bedroom. Again, I wanted to keep it quite simplistic. I do like it when the rooms aren't just full of clutter sometimes. I do love my clutter, but I tend to like focus on making the kids' rooms more cluttered than the parents' room. But yeah, I do really like this room. There's not a lot going on. It's quite a nice pastel-y pink colour. I don't tend to do much pink, certainly not for parents' bedrooms, but I do like how it turned out. I really love this wardrobe. I need to use it more often, especially with that mirror. I haven't done that in a very long time, and the fact that there's a white one as well. You know me, everything's in shades. I think I said yesterday, but my friend is like all into colour and she never wears black or anything, and then I was like, and then there's me. I live in black. But it's good to have a variety of styles and builders and content creators, because if you're all the same, how boring would that be? So it's great to have a variety. So now we're just on to the screenshots. That is all of that build. I don't know how I made this video down to 12.5 minutes, because it took me quite a while. I absolutely love how it turned out. The client was very happy with it. And yeah, if you guys do want any custom-made builds, feel free to message me on Instagram at AbbyX. And I will probably see you guys tomorrow, because I have more builds to upload. What's new? And head over to my Instagram if you want to see yesterday's reel with yesterday's build video. It's only a minute long. I tend to make them around that time. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you wish to. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.
Would you take me for granted? And if I could run faster than speed of light, would you take me for granted? Shake, shake, trembling to my bones.